As I said, this music isn't with this, but I thought I would go with pieces like the first piece I have any record of performing for this open mic venue at the Aloha Cafe, and this is called The State of the Nation. My phone rang earlier today, and I picked it up, and I said, hello. And the man at the other end said, is this Janet Kuypers? And I said, yes it is, may I ask who's calling? And he said, yeah, hi, this is George Washington, and I'm sitting here with Jefferson and a couple other of us guys, and we just wanted to tell you some stuff. And I said, oh, why me? And he said, excuse me, I believe I said I was the one that wanted to do all the talking. That is the problem with Americans nowadays. They're so damn rude. And I said, you know, you really didn't have to use language like that. And he said, oh, I'm sorry, it's just that I've been dead for so long, I lose all control of my manners. Well, anyway, we just wanted to tell you some stuff. Now, I know we didn't have much of an idea of what we were doing when we were starting up this country here. I mean, we didn't have much experience in creating bodies of power, so I can understand how our Constitution could be misconstrued. And he put in a dramatic pause. And he said, but when we said that people had a right to bear arms, we meant that it was to protect yourselves from a government gone wrong, and not so that you could kill a 16-year-old in an ATM machine at 6 p.m. for $20 cash. And when we said that there was freedom from religion, we included the idea, the notion of the separation of church and state, because freedom of religion could mean freedom from religion. And when we said freedom of speech, we had no idea you'd be burning the flag, or painting pictures of Christ doused in urine, or photographing people with whips of their respective anatomies. But hell, I guess we've got to grin and bear it, because if they ban that, the next thing they'll ban is books, and we can't have that. And I said, well, there are schools that have books banned, George. And he said, oh. It's weird to try to set these up with music when I don't know what I'm doing. We'll see how it goes. I'm trying. Well, and that was the thing. His music works well with so many different pieces.
And I dig that lamp, by the way. That shiny.
It's such a groovy little retro thing.
I love it. It's so retro. Yeah.
I would have the light on, but it's one of those like heat or like bug repellent. It's a yellow light, so it wouldn't quite. Yeah, although there are lots of blue lights in here, so who knows? But
green hue.
Yeah, we give a nice green hue to the whole thing. So I was going to do one more piece, and I've got it queued up appropriately. This is another one that I read at the show. This music was not in the show, no. But it is called And What I Want to Know. I've been dreaming of you lately. Usually, in my dreams, I see you for just a short while, and then you have to leave. Maybe you tell me you miss me. Maybe you kiss me. Last night, when you left me once again, I drove after you to the airport so that I could say goodbye to you one more time. In my dreams, you're always with me. In my dreams, you're always leaving me. In my dreams, I run after you just to say goodbye again. And what I want to know is, when are these dreams going to stop? And what I want to know is, are you dreaming of me too? I daydream about you in the mornings while my legs are still tangled up in the sheets. I close my eyes so I can feel you there, curled up against me. Why do I have to get out of this bed? And what I want to know is, if you saw me hit by a car, my lifeless body lying in the street, would you hold me up against you? Would you hold my limp arms in your coarse hands? Would you rock me to sleep? Would you cry? Would you not want to say goodbye? And what I want to know is, if you saw that car speeding toward me, would you instantly run to me, because life is no longer life without the one you love. I know what I would say. I know my answers. And what I want to know is if I will live like this forever. And what I want to know is if I'm going to suffer this alone. And what I want to know is, are you dreaming of me too? Thank you so very much. Thank you very much. I said I'm going to sprinkle pieces throughout this because I have not only the first things I ever read at Aloha Cafe, but the first things I ever read at the cafe, which I'll probably save for the end of because then I could have the first piece I ever read at the cafe also be the last piece I ever read at the cafe. Well, we'll see if that works. And I happen to have music. It's soprano singing from an opera friend of mine, Suzanne, who could not be here, so I've got some of her singing in the background. I have no idea how the volume's going to be on any of these.
So Janet,
Yes,
that is hooked up, the sound system's hooked up to the lamp.
No, it's a little speaker on my little I got an iPod on this side so I can have my audio, and I see lots of people. Hello.
How cool is that?
It's my little retro lamp with an iPod player. So yeah. So anywho, how am I to see if this will work out? I'll have to see how this sounds. So I'm going to read 3 pieces, and as I said, thank you very much to Suzanne for singing these pieces behind them. I'm going to start off with a mellow one, and this poem is Christmas Eve. Glasses, there you go. Oh, of course. On Christmas Eve, we made dinner, fettuccine Alfredo, with chicken and duck, vegetables and bread. We ate. We couldn't finish everything. We were putting on our coats, getting ready to go to midnight mass. I decided to pack up our leftovers, give them to some homeless people on the main street. We got in the car and we drove to Broadway and Berwyn. I got out of the car, walked over to a man there. I asked him if he was hungry. I got the bowl of noodles and a gallon of milk out of the car. Another man walked over to me. I told them to promise that they would share. I got in the car. We were just driving. And all I could think was these 2 men in the cold were eating pasta with their fingers on Christmas Eve. Thank you. Is that okay, Molly? It's just
Actually, it's perfect level.
okay, very good. Because I have no idea. I'm like, well, I'll put this up here and I'll project the voice and I'm just going to change hats. Although this one's huge, I don't know how this is going to work. Okay, see, and if anybody wants to wear these hats, I'm going to leave them here. If anybody wants headbands for being in the holiday spirit. This only talks briefly about the notion of Christmas. But it's usually Christmas where it's actually warm. Versus here where the snow came down this weekend. Lucky us. This is a piece called Coquinas. I can't imagine the number of times I've been there. And visiting Florida, Christmas with my parents. A plastic tree decorated with sand dollars and red ribbons. Eating Christmas dinner, listening to Johnny Mathis. And after the Irish coffee, father with his brandy snifter in hand, mother and the other girls putting away the dishes. The carolers would come, walking out in front of our home, singing, "We wish you a Merry Christmas," over and over again. We would walk outside, and the cool breeze almost felt like Christmas after the hot, humid days. And we would stand in our driveway, smile and nod. You could see down the road all the candles in paper bags lining the street. And for a few lights, the bag burned. And we would take boat rides off the coast, my parents and their friends, to a tiny island. Dad drinking beer, sometimes steering the boat in control. The women sitting together in the shade, worrying about their hair. I would sit at the front, sunglasses, swimsuit, and sunburn, feeling the wind slapping me in the face, and turning my head away from them, into the wind, away from them, to face it again. Docking at a shoreline, everyone jumping out, little bags in their hands. The women go looking for shells, the men go barbecue. After an hour or two, the sandwiches, potato chips eaten, the soda and beer almost gone. We turn around and head back. We have conquered. And I remember the Coquinas, the little shells. You could find them alive on the beaches north of the pier in Naples. Going to the beach, I would look for a spot to find them. They were all my own. They burrowed their way into the sand to avoid the light, warming their way away from me. I unearthed a group of Coquinas once, fascinated with the color of their shells, the way they moved before they could hide. I collected them in a jar and took them home with me. What did you teach me? What have you taught me to do? Is this it? Is this what it has become? Is this what has become of me? Of you? Of us? And I took them home. I added salt water and sand, but I couldn't feed them. I realized soon that they would die, and so I let them. Very much. Very. Oh, you want to know what? She sang this, and she's like, what did she do? When she came in to record this, we had some figgy foot, and we give foot, and just like, okay, that's the end of that one. I'm not going to do that anymore. She's like, I couldn't even get that on doing it. This is an operative voice. She's like, nope, I'm not going to do it. I'm like, okay, I'll deal with what we've got. That's just fine. Now, nobody has heard this before. Uh-oh, what do you guys? Yeah, it's like, what am I figuring out? Okay, this is actually a piece of prose. And it's really funny to me, but I'm crazy. This, and I've had different outfits for each one, so I don't have to have the hat for the last one. It's a little warm after that. This is called Christmas at the Old House. God, I remember the tree. Before my parents moved, when I was just a little kid, we used to have Christmas at the Old House in Chicago. All the brothers and sisters would come over, and on Christmas Eve, we would sit around the tree in the front room. The tree looked so tall. It looked so powerful to me. It looked monstrous, almost like an evergreen. It was green with just a hint of blue to it, and it seemed to glitter just sitting there all by itself. And we would put all sorts of lights on the tree, and we had all these other old silk-spun beaded ornaments that my sisters made when they were little, decorating the tree. We put the tree right in front of a huge window in front of the house. During Christmas, we would always see the snow falling, and the presents were everywhere. We all brought gifts for each other, and with 5 children, a brother-in-law, a sister-in-law, parents and grandparents, there were always ended up being a ton of presents. Now, I was the youngest, and the only one that was really still a child. I knew most of those gifts were for me. And everyone would get up from dinner to go open the presents. I would rush into the front room and slide until I fell on the beige carpeting. We never used that front room, so the carpeting always looked new. It even smelled new. It was probably I was always the first that was in the room, and I could never understand what on earth took everyone else in the family so incredibly long to get to the Christmas tree. Once, my mother handed a present to me to open. Now, as a little girl, I fiercely ripped open the package and I found a handheld electronic math game. It said D-I-G-I-T-S, digits, across the front in strange orange and red colors, like a bad set of curtains from another decade. I didn't know what to think. I had no idea what it was. I didn't even know what the word digits meant. But it was electronic, and it was a present, so I was excited. And all of this was registering in my head. Someone asked me what I just opened. I told them I got a game. Digits! I exclaimed, making it sound like a game about shoveling the most dirt or something. Everyone started laughing. I had no idea what they were laughing about. Thanks. Long as you love me so. Suzanne, for the music, for singing. I really appreciate that. Thank you all so much. I figured that since I occasionally will throw music into this, I was going to do one song. A few of you have heard it if you saw the feature, or if you'd see me trying to do this poem. I've tried to do it in different ways at every place under the sun. This is the only poem I've ever written that was meant to be sung to a song. And so every time we do it, it's completely different. So, but that's the point, you know, you stylize it differently. So, in a very bluesy fashion, this is my poem called Made Any Difference. So I'm at my bar, my favorite hangout, and I just overheard from people talking that another guy who's always here in the past few months has had a few strokes. Do-do-do-do-do. 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 Now this is just grapevine. I just heard snippets, but I need to see him put in my 2 cents. He went out for a smoke, and even though I don't, I walked up to him after he lit up. I reached my hand out toward his cigarette. He offered me a new one, but I wanted his. Do-do-do-do-do. 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 And holding a smoke, I told him that I heard. I spoke of his wife, asked about his kids. And I don't really wanna get on a high horse here, but we care for him. We want him happy. He said I was right, and he'll take some time off. Then holding his smoke, he said that he should quit. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. 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 He handed me his smoke and then walked away. Do-do-do-do-do. I stood there a while, sucking nicotine, wondering if I made any difference. Do-do-do-do-do, 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 do-do-do-do-do. First poem I ever wrote, which, I don't know, I did that when I was 9, and it rhymes. It's the only poem that rhymes that you'll ever hear from me. And this is called Under the Sea.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to be under the sea, to watch the fish go swim. I'd like to squish a jellyfish and then let go of him. I'd like to grab a soft-shelled crab and take him for a walk. I'd like to hurdle over a turtle and teach dolphins to talk. I'd like to see a manatee and then go play by him. I'd like to do all of these things if only I could swim. I wish I had done so. And I didn't know what a manatee was. My mom helped me. So I was going to close this off with, actually, everybody's talking about the first things that they ever read at the Aloha Cafe, which I started out the evening with. Though it wasn't with music from the Howman of South Africa. That's an added bonus that had music from Francois le Roux. But nobody's talking about the first thing they ever read at the cafe. Because it's crazy, because they try to keep recordings of these things. I actually have a record of the first pieces I'd read at the cafe. And I thought I would share them with you. Although, added treat, they will be with music from Francois with the Howman of South Africa. So, let me see if I can get this queued up. This is one of the first 2 poems that I'd ever read at the cafe. This is called I Dreamt About You Last Night. I dreamt about you last night, and I fell out of bed twice. You can pin and mount me like a butterfly. I dreamt about you last night. I called you on the phone even though you passed away over 4 weeks ago now. I don't know why I called. I don't know what I was hoping for. But when you answered your phone, I said, Dave? You said, yes. And I asked, how are you? And he said, fine. And I asked, you're not dead? You said, no, but I just told someone you passed away a month ago. Oh, you said, don't worry, I'll take care of it. And you sounded so relaxed, so peaceful. They say that dreams are your chance to think over the things that resolve from your day. And I keep dreaming about you. Don't I think about you enough? You were the one that left me. Why are you coming back at night when I let my defenses down, slipping in through my window and working your way into my dreams? I dreamt about you last night. We were sitting together, about to go out for the evening, and you were wearing a black t-shirt and black jeans. We were running late, and you were angry. I wanted to wear this, but I wanted to put more black on. I wanted to wear my black vest and my black jacket. You know, I always thought it was funny how much you cared about the clothes you wore. So I said, but you look fantastic in your jeans and t-shirt. And you smiled at me and kissed me. I wish I could have told you more in life, how good you looked. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I wish in life I could have told you the things you wanted to hear. I saw you today. You were in a black car, like the one that you had sold, your black convertible. You were wearing dark sunglasses. He could have been you if I squinted my eyes just slightly. You pulled up in the right lane next to me as I was driving to my sister's house. You were about to turn right, and I watched you look at the oncoming traffic, waiting for your chance to leave me again. Let me think it was you. driving, living. Let me think that you were just ignoring me. Then I could be angry with you. I dreamt about you last night. I was on a cruise ship, and you were working there as a waiter. You were wearing one of those silly short jackets as your uniform. It was sea blue. And every time I thought I saw you, you would turn away to do your job. All I ever caught were fleeting glimpses of you walking away. All I keep thinking is that my days are finally free of you, but they're not. I keep thinking of you, and it isn't enough. I still can't escape you at night. Thank you. Thank you, that man of South Africa. Now this, I can't believe that these are the first ones I'd ever read at the cafe, and I guess they would be the last ones I've read at the cafe. This is a short one that is called, I'll see if I can get this. Is it queued up? Are you queued up properly? Oh, well, I'll find out in a moment. Is this, yes, I think it is. This is a short piece called The Martyr and the Saint. They gave their daughter the name of the patron saint of television. And the television's always been the one thing she hated about him. Or was it the drinking that he needed more than her? The business has gone bad. I'm a failure. I'm not a man. He said he respected her. Then he'd call her a $20 whore from Vegas. And the mother would hold the child.